But of course, with the time limits that we have for our meeting and for this presentation, I think there is some justification to focus largely on our perceived need for healing and reconciliation as an ummah here in North America, and more particularly, and let's be open about that, between two major important components of the ummah of North America, numerically and in terms of quality and importance. Sometimes people use the term the immigrant Muslims and the indigenous Muslims. Well, I have my reservation also about using those terms. And I've been in that position one time speaking in one of the sessions, not of the Parliament of Canada, but sometimes they support, like the Congress also, some functions. So it was in that occasion where the speaker, who was a former leader of one of the parties of Canada, speak about how the Canadians, like himself, are welcoming and try to accommodate the immigrant Muslims. After he finished his presentation, I expressed some views. I said that all of us here are immigrants. The only difference is that some immigrants came before the others. And that if the only people who are exempted from that perhaps would be the native Canadians. And even then, historians might say that some of them probably might immigrated when the continents were connected. So the term immigrant we use only in terms of relative recency in coming here. Yes, there are major differences also in this immigration, some of which was forceful immigration. We all are aware of that. Some might have been optional. So natives also are indigenous. What does it take to be indigenous, except only in relative terms? It just reminds me with a little story when in the late 60s, I taught for 1 year in the University of Portland in Maine. And that state apparently is super conservative and almost like anti any immigrant. And somebody from Maine was telling me that story. He said that somebody immigrated to Maine, the state of Maine, when he was 4 years old with his parents. Allah granted him long life, and he died at the age of 100-some. And when he was buried, somebody put a sign on his grave, "Here lies the stranger." So if we're using those terms, perhaps, like I said, there could be all kind of meaning to them. I love the Islamic term, in fact, like muhajirin and ansar, because it has a different connotation in meaning and connotation also, historically speaking, that's much more positive than forced or choice immigration for that matter.